Hello and welcome. In the world of hospitality, some of the most critical, game-changing work happens completely out of sight. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore that hidden engine that really powers every single great hotel. Think of this as your blueprint for operational excellence, something for you, the next generation of hospitality leaders, to really sink your teeth into. Okay, so picture this. You walk into a luxury hotel. Right away, that first impression, it's just flawless. Check-in is totally smooth, the lobby is immaculate, and your room? Perfectly prepared. Everything, it just feels seamless, right? And as you move through the hotel, that feeling continues. Everything just works. The service is always there when you need it, but never intrusive. It feels like the whole experience is just happening, effortlessly, almost like it's magic. And that right there, that perception of effortless perfection, that is the absolute core of what we call the magic of hospitality. It is the bedrock, the foundation of a truly unforgettable guest experience. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that magic of hospitality, then peek behind the curtain at the back of house. We'll also look at what happens when that engine fails, and believe me, it does. Then we'll get into how to design for success, and finally, tie it all together with the profitable blueprint that makes it all worthwhile. So first up, let's really put ourselves in the guest's shoes and talk about that magic of hospitality. We're talking about all those polished, public-facing areas, the stuff that defines that incredible luxury experience. It all just feels so natural, so perfect. But what's actually powering all this magic? What is really happening behind the scenes to make it all possible? Well, the answer lies behind that curtain we mentioned, in a part of the hotel that most guests will never, ever see. We're talking about the back of house, or as we call it, the BOH. So what exactly is the back of house? Well, think of it as the engine room of the hotel. And I want to be really clear, this is not some secondary space. It's the central hub, the absolute heart of the operation. It's where all the non-guest-facing work happens, every little piece of it designed to support that seamless experience guests see out front. So what are we actually talking about when we say engine room? Well, it's the kitchens, right? The massive laundry facilities. It's the employee locker rooms, the loading docks where everything arrives, the maintenance workshops, and of course, those super important service elevators. These are the physical spaces that literally keep the entire hotel running. But here's the thing. What happens when that engine is poorly designed? The consequences aren't just minor. They are severe, and they create a ripple effect that touches every single part of the hotel. And this really gets to the human cost of it all. There's a powerful insight from the industry that says a poorly designed back of house is the leading cause of high turnover and low employee morale. Think about that. This isn't just about logistics or efficiency. It's about people. So let's make this real. What does this actually look like day to day? Well, it looks like a staff member having to walk up 3 floors just to get a clean uniform. It looks like a service elevator that's too small for the room service carts, causing constant delays. Or worse, it's when the magic completely shatters. A guest sees or smells trash being taken out. Or they get woken up by a delivery truck at 5 a.m. These aren't just little hiccups. They are fundamental failures of the operation. Okay, so we've definitely seen the problem. It's pretty clear. Now, let's flip this around and focus on the solution. What are the core principles for designing a back of house that's actually built for success? The very first principle is something called the proximity principle. The idea is actually really simple, but it is so critical. It just means that support services should be located as close as possible to the areas they serve. So, for example, if you want flawless banquet service, your main kitchen has to have direct, level access to the ballroom. No long hallways, no stairs. It's all about cutting down the distance to ramp up the efficiency. All right, next up, and this one is just as important, is the concept of the employee journey. And look, this is way more than just mapping out a workflow. It's a strategic way of thinking, of designing your BOF facilities to actually show respect for your staff. And let me tell you, in today's market, this is a huge factor in attracting and keeping the best talent out there. So let's break that journey down step by step. It starts the second they walk in the door. Is the clock-in point efficient and welcoming, or is it a chaotic mess? Are the locker rooms clean and easy to get to? What about the staff dining area? Is it a place you'd actually want to take a break? And finally, is their workstation placed logically? You see, every single one of these steps really, truly matters. Another huge piece of this design puzzle is what we call vertical transportation. Basically, the elevators. It is absolutely crucial, I mean non-negotiable, that you have separate guest elevators and service elevators. Why? Because if you want to maintain that magic, that illusion of effortless service, the last thing you want is a guest sharing an elevator with a pile of dirty linens or a room service cart. Okay, so we've covered some really important design principles. Now let's connect all of this to the bottom line. Let's talk about what this means for the business, for the profitable blueprint. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have a poorly designed back of house. What does that get you? Operational delays, frustrated staff, and a negative guest impact. But on the other side, with a strategic BOH, you get high precision, you get high staff retention, you can actually run with fewer staff, and of course, you get that seamless guest experience. The two outcomes could not be more different. And here's the key takeaway, the bottom line. Thinking about the back of house during the design phase, it's not a cost. It is an investment, a smart one, because it allows your hotel to operate with fewer staff, to achieve a much higher level of precision and efficiency, and all of that directly increases your profitability. So this brings us full circle, right back to the core idea we've been exploring. And I want to leave you with this one final question to think about. Is the employee's journey really as important as the guest's journey? Because from everything we've seen here today, it's pretty clear that the success of one is totally, completely impossible without the success of the other.